Hey crew, so I'm just minding my own business, testing a retrofit escapade and the volatile changes that went live today, and Bungie drops this over on their website. This is called a Build Crafting Evolved. Basically a TWAB all about build crafting, and I figured we'd cover it really quickly because build crafting is what we do on this channel and it's what we love and it's what I enjoy with Destiny. So let's jump into this. Over the last few years, we've been expanding on build crafting options within Destiny 2. We want players to find fun and unique ways to embrace any given flavor of combat while expressing themselves through the power of their guardians. The current build crafting system relies heavily on mod library that has grown to be highly complex and at times confusing, so we're making some changes to improve it all, as well as other aspects on how you build your dream monster killing machine. Today we're going to share some more details on the upcoming in-game loadouts and mod customization features and how we're evolving the build craft experience as a whole. And there's some really cool things down here, like look at this. All of your weapons, perks, mods, armor, subclass, everything in one slot in Destiny, which is awesome. So let's just go over the lowdown here because this is basically everything they're doing, and then we'll go more in depth down below. So consolidation is a major theme in many of the changes you'll be seeing today. The current pre-Lightfall mod system has been built piecemeal over the years and contains a lot of redundancies. The loadout system empowers Guardians to suit up for whatever task on the fly, up to 10 slots available to save multiple loadouts. So 10 slots, that's awesome. This single screen system also provides opportunities for players to create and share their loadouts with the community more easily, which is going to be super nice for us. The mod customization screen will make managing your mods easier with them all in one place. Like the Guardian's appearance screen, this screen creates an easy to reference space where you can see all of your armor pieces and mods at any given time. Champion counters, which this is a big one. So when you're countering champions in like a Grandmaster, champion counters are being spread between artifact perks, subclass abilities, and more. Updates to mods streamline the process and bring new and exciting build potential to Destiny 2. We're taking the opportunity to touch and tune every single mod in Destiny 2. We're removing energy types from mods and armor, giving players more flexibility in crafting their builds. No more switching between energy types to find the mod you want. That's a really big thing. That's awesome. We're reducing the pressure on armor energy by retuning armor mod costs and changing artifact perks to no longer require mod slots. That's also huge. And then we're moving from weapon type specific mods to damage type specific mods for increased flexibility in builds, which is really nice because weapon types, is like a pulse rifle for anti-barrier, but maybe anti-barrier would be like a grenade, right? Or something to that effect, which is really cool. So the loadout system down here, being able to save your loadouts and easily swap between them in-game has been a long requested feature and is arriving with Lightfall next month. We're taking the power of quickly switching between carefully crafted builds and make it available in-game for you. Here are some problems the team wanted to solve. Quickly swap entire sets of gear without numerous trips to the vault or having to open a second screen, decrease time in between play sessions caused by needing to rebuild a loadout, and create ways to label loadouts for each and quick identification. So as you can see here on the left, you have your entire loadout very easily, and then here at the bottom, you have the full subclass build in it, and it looks like there's a scroll bar right here that you can scroll left and or down and up with it, right? And see everything that you need to see within the build, so that's super cool. Mods and mod customization. When Lightfall goes live, it'll be a new ballgame of sorts. Things will be different, and you will have a blank slate to start cooking up new builds for the future adventures. Not all current builds in Destiny 2 will be possible upon launch, but there will be a healthy offering to start with. We're also planning to expand upon build crafting options season over season. Problems the team wanted to solve with this is cut down on time managing mods, removing limitations that created confusing experiences, breaking down barriers to make build crafting fun, giving players more understandable ways to earn mods, remove the need to wait for 801 to sell a specific mod you need, and retune mods to give players more forms of expression while also tampering down on areas of power creep. So as you can see here, we have the mod customization, and each screen 7 out of 7, 8 out of 8, 9 out of 9, 5 out of 5, 3 out of 3. Pretty simple stuff. Our new mod customization screen is going to make creating your builds much easier, as you'll be able to see all of your currently applied mods and how they are affecting your stats on one screen. From here, you can quickly select different pieces of gear to start tinkering. So you have all 4 slots for each, and hopefully, like they said, artifact mods don't need one of these slots anymore. That's really cool. Look at this down here in the bottom right. Barrier Unstoppable Overlord with, what is that? The artifact mod maybe? That's pretty cool. There's also a tab at the top of the screen so you can switch over to see what perks and stats your current weapons have without having to switch back to your character screen, so we can really do it all in one place. Let's talk about earning mods. Historically, mods were unlocked in a variety of ways, but for the most part, you were waiting on Ada 1 to have them in stock. We wanted to remove this waiting game and make all mods have a clear unlock path. All mods will be unlocked by achieving Guardian rank 6. Most players who have spent some time in the game will start out at rank 6 and instantly have all mods ready to go out of the gate. New players will unlock mods as they climb through the ranks. Look out for more info for Guardian ranks soon. Mod application details. Mod energy types are being removed. Eliminate the need for 4 different versions of a given armor piece for build crafting purposes. So now instead of, stasis, void, arc, solar, that's gone. We should be able to equip it on whatever piece of armor we have. We're also converting the combat style socket into an additional mod socket for that armor slot, helmet, and gauntlets. We are also reducing the energy cost of many of these mods, helping give you more opportunities to mix and match. Additionally, armor mods that previously provided benefits to weapons based on their archetype, for example hand cannon loader, will now instead provide benefits to weapons based on their damage type. This levels the playing field for all weapon archetypes and should make it easier to put together a powerful suite of mods to benefit multiple weapons in your loadout sharing a damage type. But that's not all. Artifact mods are also being translated to unlockable perks. They will no longer need to be socketed, but rather unlocked for the duration of the season once earned and are passively applied to your loadout. So they don't need to be socketed, which means they're not going to take up a mod slot, which just helps building purposes greatly. So what does that mean exactly? Let's say the anti-barrier weapon of a seasoned pulse rifle. The changes means that you'll no longer need to equip a mod for this, taking up precious space and energy. Yep, like I just said, all your pulse rifles, unless they have intrinsic champion mod, will automatically have anti-barrier applied. As you can imagine, having every single artifact mod active at the same time will be a little OP. Because of that, you won't be able to unlock them all at the same time, and you'll have to choose which 12 perks you have active at any given time. However, we do want to make it easy as possible to change up your build, so resetting the artifact will not cost anything. What does this mean for Artifice Armor? Extra Artifact mod slot. Starting in Lightfall, Artifice Armor will have a new unique mod slot that grants 3 additional points to your character stats like Strength, Agility, Intellect, etc. This will help you round out your stats as you perfect your builds. Okay, so hold on. This means that Artifact Armor, Extra Artifact mod slot, starting in Lightfall, Artifice Armor will have a new unique mod slot that grants 3 additional points to your character stats. So 3 additional points and spread across 5, that's not bad. I mean, 15 extra points towards something. So to make up for like that negative 20 discipline on a, like, let's say a void build, right, with Echo of Undermining, you get 15 back by having Artifice Armor. That's pretty cool. Once you've gotten your loadout set and your mods managed, it's time to dive in. We're making some gameplay updates to complement the above changes. Game, set, and match. One thing that has always played a huge part in how you set up your builds is match game. It's been pretty much a requirement that you diversify your damage types or end up facing shields that feel hopeless to break. We want to remove this restriction and allow more freedom with how you create your builds and take advantage of new element-specific mods. To reach that goal, match game is being removed from high difficulty activities, and we are making a few tweaks to how you can damage to different types of shields. Base shields resistance to non-matching damage types across the entire game is being adjusted to 50%, similar to Gambit now. We will have some other ways for you to do some bonus damage to shields that we'll tell you about after launch. This will help you synergize your perks and abilities around single damage type rather than diluting them across several different ones. That's awesome, because just like in these void builds I posted the last couple days, I want to use Repulsor Brace. But Repulsor Brace is harder to use in endgame content because you have to match the enemy shields. Luckily, in the video I just posted today, it was a void shield, so I could use Repulsor Brace. But now with this, it's more like the Legend campaign, right? Or like they said in Gambit, where you can still kill the shield. It just takes a little bit extra with that weapon, but now we don't have to give up a different weapon to use that. We are the champions. Another thing that has a huge impact on your build are champions. We want to make you and how you counter champions more logical. That should also make it easier to learn how to deal with them in the first place. So while you will still have a selection of anti-champion artifact perks available for you based on your current weapon selection, we are also adding some anti-champion options to your subclass to complement your weapons. Barrier champions, Solar Void, and Strand counter. When using volatile rounds from your weapon, it will also pierce the barrier and stun the champion. That's awesome. When a player is radiant, their attacks pierce champions' shields and stun them. Strand will also have a method of piercing barriers. Overload champions, Arc, Stasis, and Void counter. Damaging an overload champion by triggering the jolted condition stuns the champion. Likewise, suppressing the champion stuns them as does slowing them with stasis, excuse me. That's really cool. And then Unstoppable Champions is our last one. Arc, Solar, Stasis, and Strand counter. Blinding an unstoppable champion instantly stuns them. Encasing them in stasis and then shattering it or triggering a solar ignition on them likewise stuns them. Strand will also include an unstoppable champion counter. So Strand is unstoppable and barrier, it looks like. I don't see Strand for overload. And then armor charge mods. With the combat mods socket going away, many mods that once belonged to the Charge of Light and Elemental Well subfamilies of mods now fall under a revamped system known as Armor Charge and move to armor slot specific sockets. The armor charge mechanic functions as follows. Socketing an armor mod that uses the armor charge system gives you access to the system. The functionality of taking charge, picking up an orb of power to gain 1 stack of Charge of Light, is now granted to you whenever you have any armor charge mod equipped. Many mods that previously created elemental wells or gave you stacks of Charge of Light have been converted to instead create an orb of power. You can now hold between 0 and 3 stacks of armor charge by default, which appears as a buff in the status effects area. So basically, you're holding 3 armor charges, and if you use, like, let's say the firepower mod, you'd probably be using that armor charge to proc firepower. By socketing chest armor mods charged up, you can increase your maximum number of armor charge stacks as high as 6. Wow, with charged up, that's crazy. Some mods provide a passive, ongoing benefit while you have any stacks of armor charge. When you have one of these armor mods equipped, every 10 seconds a stack of armor charge falls off, if not consumed by something else. So basically, like, 10 seconds of Font of Might is what that's saying. Players can extend this decay time by socketing the extended charge mod in the class item socket. For example, Font of Wisdom is the head socket, while provide a bonus gain to intellect while you have any armor charge active. Some mods consume 1, 2, 3, or all stacks of armor charge on particular trigger, granting you an instantaneous benefit when they do. A few other mods, Stacks on Stacks in the leg socket, Powerful Friends and Radiant Light in the head socket, Time Dilation in the class item socket, can modify the armor charge system for you without providing you with a specific benefit while you have armor charge. Finishers will now consume armor charges and not dip into your super energy. Elemental Wells evolved. While many of the mods that previously benefited from Elemental Wells are being changed to instead focus on Orbs of Power. Some aspects of Elemental Wells aren't going away entirely. Instead of creating Elemental Wells, each subclass will now create damage type specific spawned objects. Ionic Traces for Arc, Firesprite for Solar, that's interesting, Void Breaches for Void, Stasis Shards will continue being used for Stasis, and then Strand will have its own objective. We will share more details in the future. The ability to spawn these objects will not come from armor mods, but from your subclass instead. For example, while the Ember of Tempering Fragment is active for Solar Hunters, it will now create a Firesprite when you defeat an enemy with a solar weapon. That sounds awesome. Picking up any of these objects will grant ability energy or have other effects depending on your subclass build. For example, if you're running a solar subclass and you have the Ember of Mercy Fragment equipped, picking up a Firesprite will grant you the restoration effect. The numbers of these types of interactions will be limited at launch, but we'll intend to add this system moving forward. Balancing Act. Basically, while the main goals here were to streamline the build crafting experience, we have had also some tuning while we were under the hood to address some of the power spikes certain build combinations created. As we said previously, we looked at every single mod and some were changed, moved to other slots, transitions to other abilities, or removed. With the removal of armor energy type and the consolidation of mechanics into armor charge, some mods became redundant and were removed. Some ability energy gains, stat bonuses, and weapon damage bonuses from mods have been reduced. Though we've also added some new mods to expand your build possibilities, not all previous builds are going to be able to recreate it one-to-one, but the system has been changed enough upon a lot of new possibilities with new mods and ability combinations. An example of mods that aren't coming along for the ride are Warmind cells. These are a relic of different time and had already been nerfed in the past. They had a good run, but these mods will be depreciated and no longer available starting in Season 20 to make way for new options to consider while crafting your preferred combat style. So there goes Warmind cells. Good thing we didn't put a build out on them. Looking ahead, we've covered a lot, and now there are going to be a lot of questions with so many changes on the horizon. We'll have more to say on this along with a plethora of other exciting changes coming alongside Lightfall's release next month. With a system like this, the best way to fully understand it is to get your hands on it and start tinkering. As with everything involved with supporting Destiny 2, this evolution is not in the endpoint. We have plans to continue tuning and improving this system, and we'll be adding new build crafting elements to fill power gaps we didn't have a chance to get with this release. We're excited to see what you build with the new toolbox and look forward to seeing all the new builds shared out. Worth adding something like, we want to make it more logical with which kinds of things you can use to counter champions, making it easier to learn how to deal with them in the first place. Whew, that was a long read. So there's some really cool things in here. The elemental wells evolved with ionic traces, void breaches, Firesprite, stasis shards. That's all awesome. The artifact armor changes is awesome. The new powered up system, the armor charge system. There's so much to take in from this. So if you guys want to go read it yourself, it's over on Bungie.net. It's their top article, and it's called BuildCrafting Evolved. But I just wanted to share this with you guys because, again, we are the BuildCrafting channel around here, and I hope you enjoyed this video if you're still watching it to the end. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.